The airbrush t-shirt I got last year in Florida is a joke, but the story I'm about to tell you is definitely not. It's about roommates. Okay, so before I met my wife, I bought a house, and in order to help pay for rent, I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna get some roommates. A buddy of mine moved in with me, but there was still another room or two, and so I was like, I'm gonna put an ad in the paper. Actually, I think it was on Craigslist, and I'm gonna see if I can get another roommate. Somebody answered the ad, they came, they visited, I'm like, okay. His name was Aaron as well. And so the running joke between my other roommate and I was that he was going to be called Deuce. Well, Deuce ended up moving in because I was like, yo, he wants to pay me $500, that means that I'm not... Anyway, roommates are a great situation. It really helps cut down on expenses. Well, this is an incredibly long story, and I'm going to try to actually shorten it up so that you don't fall asleep and unsubscribe and all that good stuff. But anyway, so Deuce moves in. First thing, the day that he moves in, he goes, hey Aaron, I got a question for you. I'm like, what's that, Aaron? He's like, come to my trunk. I was wondering if we could put these up in the bathroom, sort of as wallpaper. I'm like, okay, what are you showing me? He opens his trunk, and this dude has methodically cut out all these naked women, all these porn pictures, and made a collage. He made 3 collages on poster board. And I mean, it was like hundreds of pictures of naked women. He's like, hey, can we put these up in the bathroom? I'm like, no. My mother's gonna come and use that bathroom, and it's just, frankly, it's weird. So this was my first day, basically, of having him in my house. So, we went about, he had a job at the time, and I knew that he liked to drink, though. And he used to drink brandy straight. And I just thought, hey, he just has refined taste. Well, over the course of the next month, it became more apparent that he not only liked to drink, he needed to drink. He was an alcoholic. And a month after moving in, he actually lost his job because, lo and behold, his supervisor was like, yo, Aaron, you showed up, not me, Deuce. Deuce, you showed up and you're drunk at work. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm not drunk, I'm tipsy. Anyway, that's beside the point. He loses his job. He's got unemployment, lot of yada, yada, yada. Anyway, he doesn't have a job now. So what does he decide to do? He decides to drink more. All day long he's drinking. I'm like, yo, talking to my other roommate, I'm like, this is ridiculous. So then I start looking into how to basically evict somebody who's paying me month to month, but apparently there are laws about removing somebody that actually is paying you rent. But one night, he started to actually go crazy. Literally, he went crazy. I didn't know this at the time, but he was medicated when I first met him. He lost his job, he lost his insurance, and so he went off of his antipsychotic medication. Old Deuce was a paranoid schizophrenic, and one night, one very long night, he started hearing voices and thought that there were people outside of his door that wanted to kill him. So this went on all night. Every time I think he was going to sleep, I'd hear ice cubes rattling in a glass. He was getting more to drink. I'm like, oh my God. So I end up going to work. Or no, that night I went out on a date. I came home and my house was pitch black. And I was like, pitch black? There are always lights on. This is weird. So I go to put my key in the lock. All of a sudden the door swings open. There's Deuce standing there with a safari hat on and a backpack. And he's standing there and he goes, hello. I go, hey Deuce, what are you doing? He goes, I'm going to go teach these boys that are making fun of me outside of my window a little lesson. And he pulls out 2 butcher knives. I'm not lying to you, so help me God, strike me dead if I am lying. This actually happened. So he went outside to play. I go in my room, I call the cops come, they come to the door, and Deuce answers and is like, hey, nothing's wrong, everything's cool. Anyway, he ends up getting evicted, and something happened. I forget exactly. This is where it gets a little fuzzy. He decided actually to leave the next day or the day after and move to California. I contacted his mother. His mother then hit me to the fact that, yes, indeed, her son is crazy and needs medicine. Never saw the guy again. He took all his stuff that one day. It was like a day or 2 after he actually freaked out and almost killed me. But that's beside the point. The point of this video, and why I started thinking about this, is because of our friend Lewis. Lewis came to me and said, Aaron, I'm moving to a new town, I don't have a roommate. To help compensate for expenses, a friend of mine said, hey, her girlfriend needs a roommate and I'm thinking about moving in with a woman. What do you think as far as how is this going to affect my game with other women? I'm not interested sexually to this woman that I'm living with, but I am going to live with her. You know, is it a problem? Do you think it's going to upset or, you know, basically interfere with my ability to date? And the answer, Lewis, is absolutely it is. And here's why. You tell somebody that, hey, I've got a roommate, it's a female. First of all, this is a little bit of a red flag to other women. It's like, why are you living with a woman? Have you slept with her? Are you sleeping with her? Do you want to sleep with her? Okay? That being said, even if you don't, the fact that she is going to be possibly coming over to your house is going to be incredibly awkward. To a woman, she's going to be hanging out with you and your female roommate. She's worried that she is judging her, and, you know, the girl is just going to be incredibly uncomfortable. And then to take her back to your room and try and get freaky, the other woman that you're taking home is going to be like, oh my gosh, is that other woman judging me and hearing me? And, you know, am I the third slut that he's brought home this month? Anyway, it's just a bad situation. And then, God forbid you actually do start hooking up with this girl, then all of a sudden you've got a more complicated situation and scenario on your hands. So Lewis, roommates, yes, they're essential. Yes, I would recommend them if they're not crazy. But I would probably look for a guy to live with or downsize and get a smaller apartment, because ultimately it is definitely going to affect your game if you live with a chick.